A man with mind control powers on a time limit wants his current slave forever. This is for entertainment purposes only. This short story is only for people over the age of 18.
I'm always honey and ready for you, master.
Tiffany whispered the words in a desperate hush. She was naked on her knees before me, her skin glowing under the bedroom lights. She looked at me with absolute devotion, a look that everyone would swear was real and intoxicating, if you didn't know the truth. Hearing Tiffany say, "always," was a dangerous word for both of us. This was the final day of our arrangement. Tonight, Tiffany would leave and return to her own life, never knowing the psychic shackles that had bound her to me. It was a shame. Physically, Tiffany was an extraordinary partner in bed. Looking down at her on her knees, I remembered why I took Tiffany in the first place. She was a natural beauty with raven black hair and a toned, athletic build that resulted in fantastic legs. She didn't have a large bust, but her lean, streamlined frame was exactly what attracted me to her. However, her time was up. She had reached my 1-week limit. Through an encounter with a genie, I gained the power to override a person's will and enslave their mind. The control was absolute, but I found out the hard way it had an expiration date. The influence usually lasted 8 or 9 days. Because that window was unpredictable, I played it safe and capped every session at 7 days. This limit was likely the genie's revenge. My first wish had been a clumsy attempt to wish for more wishes, by wishing to know how to wish for more wishes. It didn't work. With that violation of the first big restrictions from the genie, there were surprises waiting for me. I wished for immunity to all diseases, but I'm still aging. Then there's the wish for total control over another person's mind, but it only lasts for a week. Yeah, this is payback. As I looked at Tiffany, finally ordered to get clothes on after a week of being naked, I thought about the woman who had been in her spot last week. I'd already forgotten her name, but she had left with her memories of the week erased. She was also an experiment. I had planted a few commands in her mind to see if they would last after the bond broke. I wondered if she would actually show up at my gym wearing a bikini and lifting heavy weights. I found Tiffany while scouting for new talent in the city later that day. I spotted her in a casting line for an off-Broadway play. Her real name was Ildiko, though she was using Tiffany for the role. She was reviewing her lines, unaware that I was watching. I was captivated by her sharp bangs, her almond-shaped eyes, and her fitness model body. I reached out with my mind to infect her mind. That's not the best analogy. Think of my control as a single drop of highly concentrated food coloring into a glass of water. In a handful of heartbeats, she followed me blindly to my mansion. The drive home was frantic for the two of us. We spent the entire trip in the back seat of the car touching, kissing, licking, and getting to know each other on a physical level. Claiming Tiffany in bed felt more potent than any other woman. I was loving having sex with her in a way that I never had with any other woman before. This is where I made a mistake. In a moment of impulsiveness, I made a tactical error. I commanded her to be ready for sex, forever. The command worked too well. From that moment on, Tiffany existed only for sexual gratification. The sex was phenomenal, don't get me wrong, but I missed human companionship. I missed the intimacy of lying in bed and talking about things that weren't related to arousal, sex, and body parts for sex. With Tiffany, she was just a loop of desire, where nothing else could enter her mind, despite my best efforts. Interestingly, my experiment with last week's woman had worked. I saw her at the gym, blonde hair stuck to a nearly bare back, straining under heavy weights, driven by the mental commands I'd left behind. She showed no shame in wearing that bikini to the gym, and getting lots of looks from the guys and a few girls. This proof of control, gave me hope. I had tried to reverse the always horny command I gave Tiffany, but it was too rigid to change. Totally obedient, but when given a command my slaves will obey until they have their own autonomy back. There is a solution to getting Tiffany to be a companion and not just a sex toy. It requires patience. I must let the current bond dissolve and let Tiffany return to her normal self. Then, after a period of dormancy, I can enslave her again from scratch to be something other than a sex doll with a heartbeat. I have to wait 3 months before Tiffany's psychic plane is clean enough for me to take her back. I can imagine the cycle. A few days of hunting her down, a week of mindless bliss, and the hope of leaving commands in her mind that will make her a permanent fixture in my life and bed. Given the pleasure Tiffany provided me, she is well worth the wait.
The end. This was a work of fiction. Any similarity between people, living or dead, is purely coincidence. This scenario did not, or should not, have happened in real life. Thank you for listening.